What my old carnival job taught me about carnivals, part 3. Don't get me frickin' started on the pick a duck game. Y'all know this, right? You pick up a duck, you flip it over, and it'll tell you if you want a small, medium, or large prize. Well, where I worked, every single one of the ducks was a small prize duck. We didn't put any large prize ducks in there, but they would give us a large prize duck to put in our pocket, just in case someone asked us, "Do you guys even have any large prize ducks in here?" Then we'd be all sneaky. As we're flipping them over, we'd toss the duck in there, and be like, "Yeah, see, there's one right here." Shady stuff. This is the most terrifying bathroom of all time. This bathroom is located at a bar in Japan, and this face sits right in front of the toilet. Well, the toilet seat has pressure sensors, so whenever somebody sits down, this face moves slowly closer to you while singing a drunken tune, until it eventually kisses your kneecaps. Watch the video. Black markets kids used to run in their schools, part 5. This one happened at a high school. One student before school every day for 2.5 years would go to Chick-fil-A and pick up chicken biscuits. He started by picking up 20 a day, but they would always sell out. Then he upped it to 50 a day and still sell out. Eventually he was picking up 100 chicken biscuits a day and selling out every time. Other students would get to school super early just to buy these. And over those 2.5 years of him doing this, he made about $30,000. Things my old carnival job taught me about carnivals, part 4. Yes, the basketball game. It's a fan favorite and people love to play it. I always knew that there was something up with this game, but then when I saw it for myself, I was kind of shocked. So, yes, the rims are oval shaped. It makes it really harder to get that swish. Also positioned higher than regulation. And the balls are overinflated, which make them extra bouncy. When I used to work there, I always had a ball on me that I would just toss around and have fun with. It was different than the balls that people played with. Mine was normal, theirs were extra inflated. Quick tip for you. You want to win this game? Ask the game worker to use their ball. 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes. And then try to swish it. Black markets kids ran in their schools, part 27. Another follower submission. Where he went to school, they had this thing called food dudes. Students were given 2 bags of fruits and vegetables just like these. And if they ate both bags and brought the teachers the empty bags, they would get a prize. Well, nobody wanted to do it. So one kid was like, "Hey, I'll eat the fruits and vegetables for you and give you the empty bags back for just $1 a bag." So kids would do it. They would give him the fruits and vegetables, he would eat it, he would give them the bags, and then they would get the prizes. This kid made about $30 a day. Well, a couple months later, some teachers noticed a terrible smell coming from the library. Turns out this kid was not eating the fruits and vegetables. He was putting them in a cardboard box and hiding them somewhere in the library. And apparently it smelled like death. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Another follower submission. When this kid was in 6th grade, he asked his teachers if he can get paid to clean off the gum from under desks and chairs. They said sure. So they paid him $5 every time he cleaned gum. And then the principal found out about this and asked him if he could also clean the gum from underneath the lunchroom tables. He said sure. It was a nice little side hustle. But then he had a brilliant idea. He was gonna start selling gum. So he started buying these packs. This one here is only $5 from Target. It's 8 packs with 15 pieces of gum in each pack. That's 120 pieces. And he sold each piece for 50 cents. But he was making $60 after selling one whole thing of gum. But here's the kicker. Every time he sold somebody a piece of gum, he asked them to put the gum underneath desks or the lunchroom tables when they're done. So he would have to clean up the gum more often and make even more money. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When he was a freshman in high school, he noticed you could buy 1 6-pack of Kool-Aid Bursts for just $1 at Walmart. So he had an idea. He was going to buy a bunch of 6-packs, freeze them overnight, and bring them to school. He would then sell them for $1 a bottle. So he would buy 1 6-pack for $1, sell all 6, and make $5 profit. Business was booming. Before long, he was bringing in 36 6-packs of Kool-Aid Bursts every day, and he was selling out. During his freshman year, he made about $5,000. Until one day during lunch, he was doing his business. And it was busy. Everyone was thirsty and they wanted Kool-Aid. Well, he ran out and went back to the football locker room to pick up more. Somebody followed him, and they found out exactly what he was doing. When they got back to the lunchroom, he was busted. They had all of his inventory and money stacked on a table like it was a scene from Narcos. He was then escorted by school staff to the principal's office. As he was walking out, however, students booed and screamed and caused a riot because they wanted their frickin' Kool-Aid, and he didn't do anything wrong. He was then suspended. To this day, people call him Juice. He is now an entrepreneur and owns a few small businesses. Senior Prank Stories Part 2. In 1985, the senior class at this high school bought 10,000 business cards. And all the cards said was Class of 1985. Well, over the course of a few weeks, the senior class hid these cards everywhere. Behind bookshelves, in books, behind paintings and pictures. They even put them in the ceiling tiles. Literally everywhere. And this was definitely a long-term prank, because to this day, those business cards are still being found at that high school. Legendary. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When he was in 8th grade, everybody was obsessed with shooting these. Some people call them hornets. Well, at his school, these hornet wars were getting out of hand. Everybody all over the school was using rubber bands to shoot folded pieces of paper at each other. They would get these rubber bands from the science teacher. Well, eventually the principal was like, this has to stop. The science teacher was then no longer allowed to give students rubber bands, so they were locked up. Well, our dude had an idea. He went to the store and bought a bag of 150 rubber bands for $5. Went to school and sold them for $1 each. Business was booming. He was making tons of money until one day, at the school talent show, a bunch of kids started firing hornets at the student performing on the stage. The school staff was so mad, so they went on the cameras to see if they could find out who did it. That's when they noticed a bunch of students following our dude to his locker. They thought he was selling drugs, so the next day at school they brought in a police officer and a drug-sniffing dog. They found bags of rubber bands and stacks of money. He was then suspended for 3 days. Things my old carnival job taught me about carnivals part 4. Yes, the basketball game. It's a fan favorite and people love to play it. I always knew that there was something up with this game, but then when I saw it for myself, I was kind of shocked. So, yes, the rims are oval shaped. It makes it really harder to get that swish. Also positioned higher than regulation. And the balls are overinflated, which make them extra bouncy. When I used to work there, I always had a ball on me that I would just toss around and have fun with. It was different than the balls that people played with. Mine was normal, theirs were extra inflated. Quick tip for you. You want to win this game? Ask the game worker to use their ball. 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes. And then try to swish it. If you're ever at a party or you're just super bored with your friends, play this game. It's called Exposed. You download it and then open the app. And then you can join a game or create a game. When you create a game, it gives you a pin that your friends use to play the game with you. And then you put your name and your picture up there. This app is nuts, and don't play it if you're not ready for some drama. They ask you tons of questions like these, and then all your friends who are playing have to vote, and everyone sees who voted for who. There's even levels, and some of them definitely get a little inappropriate. But hey, this will definitely spice up a hangout. Link is in my bio. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. This kid went to a military high school and Wi-Fi wasn't allowed in the dorms. The only place on campus that had Wi-Fi was the student center. So this guy got a brilliant idea. He bought a Wi-Fi repeater and set it up next to his window. That's when he realized he got just enough signal from the student center to boost it to his entire dorm. And this is how his business started. He charged people $10 a week to keep the password. He even kept an Excel sheet with everyone's device on there and if they paid or not. Payment was due every Thursday because that was the day they would get their allowance from their parents. And if they didn't pay by Friday, he would blacklist their devices and any other unknown ones that popped up on there. At one point, he was making $200 a week, and he was never caught.